welcome or welcome back to my channel, being Louisa. So today's video is going to be all things breast, bottles and feeding your baby. I just wanted to say that. The main topic of this video is breastfeeding. So one of you guys, actually Caribbean Curls, about a month ago asked me to do a video on breastfeeding. I'm going to be splitting this video up into 3 parts. It's going to be some myths and some myth busting. Then it's going to be some pros and cons about breastfeeding, and then also it's going to be my opinions and how it was before I started the course, then once I started the course and started to find out about breast milk and also formula milk, and then how it's changed to now. So crazy, such a short period of time, and yeah, it's changed so much. Just 2 quick disclaimers. If I look down, it's because I'm either looking at my phone where my notes are or reading off of my laptop. So that's just why, because I want to get all the facts right. And then also, I'm making this video, it may be a bit controversial, I know, but I'm making this video because it's such an interesting topic to me, and I find it so baffling, this world where we are told to breastfeed, but yeah, if we breastfeed in public, we are told we are disgusting or we are ashamed for doing it, or people want us to cover up, well, people want women to cover up whilst they feed. It's like, you wouldn't want to feed with a cover of your head. But anyway, so it's just a very weird world where you're shamed if you don't breastfeed, but yeah, you're shamed if you do breastfeed in public. It's all a bit mad. But yeah, so that's just like kind of why I'm doing this topic. I'm not doing this topic to be hurtful or to be like, I'm judging you. Like, no way is this video anything like that. Like, I'm just gonna tell you the facts and I'm gonna tell you like my opinions. But remember, I'm just one person and that's just my opinion. Everyone's opinion is different. Everyone's opinion is valid, even if we don't want it to be. It's all valid. And I'm not one of those mummy shamers. Like, no, like I may disagree with some things that people do, but I'm not like gonna shame them about it because that's just ridiculous and hurtful. So let's get on with this. Starting off with the myths. Myth number 1 is breastfeeding will make your breasts sag. Who wants to answer this one? Come on, class. Joking. Yeah, no, that's a myth. Breastfeeding does not make your breast sag. I'm going to tell you my opinion on this, like my thought process of this, and then I'm going to tell you the actual fact. So the way I always kind of saw it was like, no, like I kind of saw breast structure, like any really physical structure on your body, is genetics. When it comes to breasts, I kind of saw them like stretch marks. You're more likely to get stretch marks when you're pregnant or just in general life if you grow a bit too fast. If your parents have stretch marks, if your mother has stretch marks. I already know that I'm more likely going to get stretch marks simply because I got stretch marks on my breast when I was a teenager because my breast grew very fast. Also, another reason why I think that is because my mum is quite well endowed and has quite, you know, breasts. She has breasts that are not high and perky. They're kind of low. And so does my grandma, actually. And so I knew, like, I kind of just like was like, okay, that's probably gonna be my future. And when I was a teenager, that turned out to be my future. So I have never had, this may be TMI, but I've never had perky breasts because I got very large breasts very quickly. I've always just kind of been, you know, not where the breasts should be at this part. Let me just tell you that. And so, well, not up here, but like, you know, here. They're not there, okay? Let me just tell you that. And so I'm just like, and I've not had any kids and I've not breastfed any kids and my breasts are already, you know, low. So yeah, so that's just kind of like, to me, I've always just seen it as genetics. Now I'm going to the facts. The fact is that breastfeeding will not make your breast sag, but pregnancy will. Oh yeah, that's right. Pregnancy will, because of the hormones that are produced whilst you're pregnant. So the main hormone that is going to get you is progesterone. Now, we have a little amount of progesterone in our body anyway, but when you're pregnant, that level goes high. It skyrockets. And that increase in progesterone causes a whole deal of great things to happen. Do not get me wrong. It causes major organs to enlarge so that, you know, more blood can flow through. It causes your ligaments and joints to relax and loosen because it's a laxant. So they all just relax a bit, which is great because, you know, you're trying to get a baby through your pelvic floor, muscles and ligaments, and then also through your pelvis. And your pelvis is them joints. Them joints and ligaments need to relax so that it goes from like this to this and can get ahead through. So that's all great, but then it also does affect your breast. And the progesterone makes the ligaments in your breast loosen. And that is why your breast will start to sag. So a bit of advice on that website was wear well-supporting bras. Myth number 2 is that formula is basically the same as breast milk. That's not true. Like, we should all kind of know these things, but we don't. And it's kind of crazy how many people don't know this, but formula milk is actually derived from cow's milk. It's made from cow's milk, basically. And the amount of mamas I've told this to and they don't know this, and the amount of people just in general who don't know this, it's kind of frightening. But yeah, it's cow's milk. You're feeding your child calves breast milk, but that's okay. Like, I say that's okay because if you're gonna have your child drink it when they're like 1 and a bit anyway, then, you know, each to their own. Like, I personally, I've given up all types of dairies and anything derived from dairy. So to me, that's like, oh, that's just for me personally. Like, for everyone else, like, you should just know what you're putting into your child. Simple as. That's it. No judgment. Other than that obvious fact, whereas, like, you know, breast milk is, we reproduce it, it comes from us, it is actually a living food. Like, you know what I mean? It changes for whatever your baby's needs are, and it's amazing. Like, you guys, the amount of times I've seen breast milk change colors is crazy. And especially when like your baby's ill. Also, formula contains bacteria. Now, some people may be like, yeah, but your kids should have bacteria so that they can grow their immune system. Yeah, when they're like older and they have an already established immune system, but not when they're newborns and they are these fresh, brand new, pristine organ typed people. Okay, they are new. They have little to no immune system. They just have their innate immune system and that's it. Especially if you don't do skin to skin, they don't even get colonized with your bacteria if you don't do skin to skin. So definitely do skin to skin so they can get colonized with some of your bacteria to help them. But they are so fragile, like cute little beings. So yeah, just know that there is bacteria in it. So make sure when you are making your formula, give them as much sterileness as possible, okay? Because their whole body is sterile. And that's also why we tell people to make formula with boiling water so that it can kill some of the bacteria. Myth number 3 is one of those myths that's like fair dues. Like, oh, sorry, I don't know why it's getting so bright in here. I can like see why people would believe this, but yeah, no, it's a myth. So myth number 3 is I have flat or inverted nipples, which means I cannot breastfeed. Excuse me? Sorry, what? That word doesn't exist right now. Cannot, can't, no, no. Would not be possible, excuse me? All things are possible through Lord my God. But yeah, no, that doesn't mean no, like no. So this is what the website said, and then I'm gonna tell you my little pep talk. Nipples come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. True. So holding your baby skin to skin after birth will help them find their way to the nipple, which is so true, and it's amazing to see it. Not a lot of people do baby-led feeding because they are taught these are the positions and that's how you should do it. And a lot of people get set in their ways when they're taught something. I've noticed this, and I'm like, no. Or if they think a certain thing, like you're always told like support baby's head. But babies don't like for you to hold the back of their head while they're feeding, because you wouldn't like being held right here and like trying to feed, like, see, I can't push back. No, a lot of women get set in their ways, and even fathers. But like, it's cool to see babies just go for it when they're allowed to just go for it. It's the funniest thing. Also, your baby breastfeeds, not nipple feeds. So as long as a baby can get a nice mouthful of breast, it's okay. You're all good. That is fine. Me personally, I have spent hours with women with like I could spend up to like probably an hour with a woman breastfeeding, probably even longer, to be honest with you. Even if they have nipples that come out, flat nipples or inverted nipples, I can spend so much time with the women helping them breastfeed, because if you're struggling, I'm that person that would sit there and help, and I love doing it, to be honest with you. But yeah, so, but all together, I spent so many hours with women who have either flat or inverted nipples, just showing them some techniques. A baby will always have a favorite breast, like that's just fact. Like, baby will always have a favorite breast. There are things you can use, especially for flat nipples, there are things you can use to help, like nipple shields. We're not really supposed to suggest nipple shields, but I think it's just a good way to start off if you're really struggling. But really and truly, just try, just start trying, like just try. Sometimes you do have to like get a better shape, so you will have to see and cup it a bit more to get a better shape so baby can get a better mouthful in. There's always challenges, especially if baby has a small mouth. If you have big breasts and baby has a small mouth, that's just not fun. But as long as you work at it, it'll be fine. I don't know why, but I find I get more success from women who have inverted nipples because it's a better shape for babies to like anchor on, and like even though they're inverted, baby still has a way to feel with their nose where to go. Flat nipples, they're a bit more work, but if you know how to shape your breast correctly, then it's not that much work. It's fine, and you've got to make sure you're comfortable and baby's comfortable. So yeah, it's not impossible. It works. Trust me, I've done it. I have hand expressed women a lot, and I've had baby feeding a lot from flat and inverted nipples. You can do it. It's amazing. It's just another way of feeding, just like birth. There is cephalic birth, so head down first, which everyone thinks is the only way you can give birth. But then there are breech births. Breech births are just another way of giving birth. They are normal. It is fine. It's safe as long as you have someone competent with you who understands breech birth. Breastfeeding with flat or inverted nipples is still breastfeeding. Just know that. It is still breastfeeding and you'll do fine. So now on to part 2, the pros and cons of breastfeeding. I'm going to be looking at my laptop for this. As it says on like the NHS website, and just its facts, breastfeeding, any amount of breastfeeding is great. It has great health benefits for the baby. However, the longer you do it, the better the health benefits, and also the better the statistics of all the things you're about to hear are. For baby, infant health in general, I don't know why I'm looking down so much. I know these, but for some reason I'm like, just in case I get it wrong. But basically, breastfeeding your baby, exclusively breastfeeding quite regularly for an extensive period of time, can help reduce babies from getting ill. And these illnesses can range from infection, so fewer trips to the hospital, to diarrhea and vomiting, to childhood leukemia. It can help lower the baby's chances, to obesity, to cardiovascular disease, to things like allergies, like hay fever, asthma, and those type of allergies, and then also to sudden infant death syndrome, which used to be called cot death. So it can help lower all of your baby's chances of those. Now, I'm saying lower and not like completely eradicate or anything like that, because that's not proven. And also, so I've had a lot of women go, yeah, but I was breastfed and I have this, or they go, I breastfed my first child and they have this. And like, yeah, exactly, it can still happen. It's not saying that it makes it impossible. It just says it lowers their chances. But some of them are really vital things for that to be lowered. Also, giving nothing but breast milk for the first 6 months is what's recommended. And now the benefit for mum. It helps with bonding, but then again, skin to skin helps with bonding. So if you're not breastfeeding, you're bottle feeding, try doing skin to skin first to help with that bonding process. And also try to limit the amount of people get to feed your child if you are bottle feeding. So have maybe just you and dad, or you and mum, or you and your partner. Just have you and the child's other parent feed the baby, and maybe one other person. Just try and limit it so that they can just make those nice special connections with just a few people. And sometimes if they have loads of people feeding baby, it can like just disrupt their rhythms and patterns. But yeah, now breastfeeding also lowers the chances for mum to get breast cancer, ovarian cancer, osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease, and obesity as well. It also helps mamas lose weight. When all that stuff's coming out of you, so into babies getting bigger and you're losing those weights, and it's great. But also make sure you're always drinking water whilst you breastfeed, and that you are keeping up a healthy diet, because you will lose so much of you, because they will just take like when you was pregnant, and not really worry about what's left for you, except your body does protect you a bit more these days. Those are just some of those benefits. And some of the cons is that breastfeeding is hard. Breastfeeding isn't something you can just say, I'm gonna do it, and then think it's gonna be easy and you're gonna get it first time. Some women are lucky. However, sometimes some babies need a little while to get to grips with being outside the womb and actually having to feed themselves instead of the umbilical cord just feeding them. Some babies take time, but also sometimes some mums wanna, again, like I said before, they wanna control babies' heads and do what like this, but some babies just wanna be let loose and let them find their food. It's just all depends. Breastfeeding is stressful and it is long and it is hard. I'm not going to say it's not any of those things, unless you're very lucky and it isn't any of those things. But you know, it is one of those things that you've got to work at. So another thing that makes breastfeeding a bit harder is that we want numbers. We want to be like, yeah, I want to feed this much because you're meant to be feed this much formula. Like, no, you can feed much less breast milk and still basically be the same amount as formula. Breast milk is magical like that. But because of that, women like try to express loads, and like when they can't, they get really upset and then they get really disheartened, and it's like, no, you are doing amazing. Like, don't stop thinking about numbers. Like, numbers don't help you. It's like when you're trying to lose weight and just care about the numbers. Like, they know that's not how it works. You gotta eat healthy, you gotta exercise, you gotta do a healthy lifestyle, then it works. You know what I mean? And so when people want to know the numbers all the time, it makes it a hard process, okay? It just makes it so hard. And they're like, oh, is baby getting enough? Like, yeah. And then all of a sudden their baby's eating too much, or they're like, oh no, I think baby's eating way too much. They'll eat less if they have formula. But yeah, so I was kind of gonna put some my opinions. So this is kind of like, obviously you can tell it's kind of turning into my opinions and my thoughts on it. But for me, breastfeeding is a commitment. And it's a commitment like your wedding vows, or like your commitment you made to your partner, or whatever. It's like a serious commitment that takes work and time. It's not just gonna happen like this with little to no effort. You're gonna have to work at it, and you're gonna have to decide, like, are you willing and prepared to have those sleepless nights sometimes be even worse because baby just wants to feed all the time, or this and that. And so you and your partner have to come up with ways that they can help you. You could express a bottle so that baby can have a bottle during the night, your partner could feed baby. You can just sleep, whack it out, whack your breast out, and have your partner put the baby on your breast, and you can just go to sleep. Like, there's so many things that you can do. Like, partner could make sure that you have water, you are fed, you have tea or coffee, whatever you want, ready and waiting for you. Like, your partner can help out in so many ways, especially in the night. They can help out. Babies like to poo, your partner can help out. There's all these things that can happen that can make it easier, but you just got to realize it's a commitment, and it's going to take time and effort, and a lot of effort, trust me, a lot of effort. Time for part 3, my official thoughts and opinions. Okay, so now my thoughts and opinions and how they've changed over the course of a year and 4 months ish. So before I started the course, I always just kind of thought like everyone breastfed, even though I think some of my cousins were bottle fed, but I always just kind of thought like we just breastfeed, like, you know, you just do it, like it's just a thing. And like, to me, I've always just been like, it's free, it's there, it's the right temperature, like you just whack it out, you whack it back in. Like, that's just kind of all like how I always thought of it. Like, never really knowing that there were struggles in breastfeeding, because the way my mum talks about breastfeeding us, it was very much just like, I breastfed you, and then when I didn't want to breastfeed you guys anymore, I sent you to your grandma's or to your aunts, and I left you there for like a couple nights until you stopped wanting to breast, and then I got you back. So like, breastfeeding to me had never had any challenges. Starting the course, I then learned about formula and how it's made and how it's tested. A lot of the time, especially back in the day, it was tested very unethically in countries in Africa, and especially in places in certain countries where they don't have access to clean water, and you want them to make formula with dirty water. Yeah, just I learned like those things, and also learned about all the things that breast milk's made out of. And then we also learned how like legally in the UK you can't advertise formula for newborns. No one realizes this. No one actually realizes like it's what is follow-on milk? Follow-on milk is formula that is for older kids, but it's only like that because they couldn't advertise for newborns. It's illegal in the UK to advertise formula to newborns. Just think on that for a while. And so they created follow-on milk so that they could still have their milks advertised on TV. That is simply the only reason why there's such thing as follow-on milk. Otherwise, it's literally the same thing. Learning all those things, it made me like even more sketched out about formula, and especially because I think it was like November last year was also when I gave up dairy completely and eggs completely. So that just didn't help the situation either. So I went into placement like, yeah, I'm gonna help breastfeed. Like, I spent hours breastfeeding. I just love helping people breastfeed. At first I was very kind of like to like suggesting formula. I still don't suggest formula, but I would always tell her all the facts first, and if she still wants to give formula, then I'd give her the formula. Then my mentor, my community mentor, was like telling me how she does things, and she was like, but here's the thing, we are going to be there and help them for this short amount of time, but when we leave, who's going to help them? They're still going to need help sometimes, and if they want to do formula, and if that's going to give them a little bit of peace of mind, then who are we to judge? I'm like, that's so true. And especially seeing a lot of women like feel really guilty about it, especially because they've been mummy shamed for giving formula, but then again they've been mummy shamed for breastfeeding in public. It's just a hard one. It's just very like, oh. And then also, here's the thing, we say breastfeeding helps mental health. However, if you're exhausted and if your baby isn't latching, or if you can't get it right, or if it's just not going well breastfeeding, then it's just going to make you feel horrible and even more emotionally drained and mentally drained, and you're just gonna feel like the worst mother ever. So that doesn't help you. That really just doesn't help you. It doesn't help your mental state. It doesn't help anything. So if they are like, I just want to give a bottle at night because I just need to sleep, then do it. Like, you know, just do it. Like, or sometimes I would cheekily be like, I gave a little bottle, and it's like, don't feel guilty about it. You made the decision, you made that choice, you think that's best for your family, then do it. Simple as. And that's kind of like how I've come to now. That's kind of my thing of, you made that decision, you made that choice, you know the facts, cool, then you do you. Like, you do what is best for you and your family. Don't care about what anyone else thinks. Do what is best and what you think is best for you, your child, and your partner. I'm very much more that minded and like much more relaxed on it. Like, now I'm just like, you know the facts, cool, you still want to do it, cool, I'll help you make the bottle. And then it's like, however, if you still want to breastfeed as well, I can still show you how to express, and we can continue doing that. So even when you're bottle feeding your child, you can express some to have that stored up for later on. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. Or I suggest like, let baby have a little feed now, and then you can do the bottle as a top up. I'm that kind of way now. Now I'm like, I don't mind incorporating it and I don't feel guilty incorporating it, whereas before I felt a bit like, oh, this is hurting my morals. But now I'm like, it's perfectly fine, it's their choice, it's their body, it's their child's body. So now I've kind of changed from being like completely breast is what just makes sense because it's free, it's there, it's the right temperature, you just whack it out, whack it back in. I still think that, and me personally, I'll probably still be doing that just because financially it makes more sense, and you're going to be spending your money on nappies anyway, so what's the point of spending your money on formula as well? But now I'm like, do you know what, it's your choice, and I'm not going to be like judging you or anything, not even privately judging you. I'm just going to be like, it's your choice, you know the fact, you still want to do it, then we'll do it. Like, that's it. I'll show you how to do a formula feed in a way that's, so it's like breastfeeding, so your baby isn't just chugging it all down, but it's actually taking their time to get at it, so that they still have that mechanism for when they want to go back to breastfeeding. But yeah, so that has been this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Please be nice to each other and be respectful of other people's thoughts and opinions. But yeah, I don't know why I said that, because like, you guys are really nice and respectful, but just in case anyone has very strong opinions on this. But yeah, so that's been this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and until next time, keep on being you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below any questions or suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe to get weekly updates. Bye y'all.